A lot of people have been asking us to do a comparison between my YT Izzo Core 3 and Collin's Intense 951XC. Since we got these bikes with similar intentions, we decided to put them to the test at Heritage Trails Park, one of our favorite places to ride. Heritage has a good mix of jumps, drops, cross-country, and rock gardens, making it an ideal location to swap bikes and see what each other think. I generally don't like riding other people's bikes. I just don't like having to learn the feel of a different bike. That being said, I got on the Intense and felt comfortable instantly. The 951XC has a smaller profile, which was kind of a minor thing that threw me off a bit at first. The Intense felt a bit more nimble to me in that I could really control it. My Izzo is also pretty nimble, but it seems to do a bit of the work on its own. The Intense allowed for a bit more rider control and made it feel snappier to me. The rear end also feels shorter on the 951XC, which adds to this. The 951XC is slightly cheaper, and the component set isn't exactly comparable, and it shows the most in the SRAM NX drivetrain. The bike shifted fine, but the derailleur moves a lot. It doesn't affect the feel or function, but you can hear it, and it clicks a lot on rougher trails. I also didn't like that the shifter lever is very short. I actually missed it a few times when going to change gears. Given the smoothness and design of the trail we rode, I think the bike has enough suspension at 120mm of travel. That being said, it wasn't tuned for me, and I did bottom it out a couple times on the drops. Several people have asked about the size of these bikes, because Collin and I are both kind of in the middle of a medium and a large. I tend to go with the medium just to have a bit more of a nimble bike, and being 5'10", I feel like the medium Izzo is the right size for me. With the Intense 951XC, however, I think the head and seat tube angle make the bike feel a bit smaller. If I were getting this bike, personally, I'd probably go for the large.
The Izzo is actually a bike that has taught me quite a bit about geometry, suspension, and the capabilities of modern trail bikes. It's the bike that actually inspired me to shop around for a downcountry bike that eventually led me to buy my Intense. The climbing is what really impressed me. The bike seemed to have all the traction and efficiency you could ask for in a bike, with all-around capabilities that the Izzo has. The tires seem to be the biggest hang-up a lot of reviewers have, and I think that's mostly because we've all gotten spoiled with the traction a beefy enduro tire up front provides. The truth is, this isn't an enduro bike, and the Maxxis tires that come on the bike are a smart choice. They balance speed and grip quite well, and I don't have any complaints. The GX Eagle drivetrain seemed to be smooth and reliable, especially when compared to the NX on my Intense. The SRAM brakes, on the other hand, are a bit of a weak point, but if you switch the pads over to metallic, you'd probably see a massive improvement. Lastly, Andy has his fork travel increased to 140mm, and I think that's a great upgrade. It doesn't appear to have affected the bike in any negative way, and if anything, just makes the bike even more capable. I think a really cool test for the future would be to ride an Izzo that is set up to be a bit more of an XC speed machine against a 951 that's built up a little more burly. I think that's where you really start to blur the lines between these two bikes.
Alright, so in my opinion, it's really hard for me to choose between these bikes. If I had to do it all over again, I'm not totally sure which one I would go with. For me, it was, I wanted a downcountry bike that's more XC orientated, so I am very happy with my Intense 951, but Andy's Izzo is a very versatile bike, so that's something to consider. Not that the 951 isn't, but I think his Izzo has more opportunity and potential to build into a very versatile bike.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously, like we said, the suspension wasn't tuned or whatever, but I feel like if you were doing some more riding, more along the lines of like what I do down in North Carolina regularly, this probably, that would be the downfall for it. But I think overall, I mean, if you're looking for like a bike to go out and ride XC, the one would be good. I do like that your bike is a little lighter, which makes it a little more nimble in that way, but
I will say that next time I go visit Andy in North Carolina, I'm going to take this bike and my Jeff C, because I really would like to put this to more of a test in DuPont. I think this bike would actually be super fun in DuPont. It would be pushing the limits on some of the more technical and rocky trails, but I think it would be a pretty fun bike. I think both these bikes are great for something like DuPont State Forest. And today we were basically riding bike park features on this bike, and that was kind of a big question mark for me, is how much is this bike really going to handle? And we were sending some pretty big jumps and gaps.
Yeah, I think I never rode your bike, and the first thing I did was drop in and hit the first part of Double Dragon, and I thought it was cool that I was able to just do that, because like I said, I don't always feel that way on a new bike.
Yeah, and I guess that kind of goes to show you how similar these bikes kind of really are in a lot of ways.
So I think it's safe to say we're both going to have these bikes for quite some time now, and we are going to keep putting them to the test, so subscribe and we'll do just that and let you guys know how it goes.
Kyle, you're doing that. Yeah!
Big smile from the kid. Hell yeah.
Thanks, guys.